6.3 million Pringles every single day. That's 73 chips every second, perfectly shaped, perfectly stacked in that unmistakable tube. But here's the twist. Pringles aren't even potato chips, and the way they're made will probably change the way you look at your favorite stackable snack forever. Today we're going inside the Pringles factory to see exactly how those golden saddles are engineered, seasoned, and shipped all over the world. Before we start, I want to know, what's your go-to Pringles flavor? Drop it in the comments now and see who else shares your taste. The year was 1968. The Beatles were topping charts, man was about to walk on the moon, and in the snack world, one man named Frederick Bauer, a food scientist for Procter & Gamble, had a mission. The problem? Traditional potato chips were greasy, fragile, and came in half-empty bags filled mostly with air. Bohr's solution? Create a chip that stayed fresh, never broke, and looked identical from the first bite to the last. It took years of trial and error, but eventually he, along with researcher Alexander Lipa, engineered a completely new snack. One with a precise shape, a resealable package, and a taste that stayed consistent every single time. They called them Pringles newfangled potato chips, until the US Food and Drug Administration stepped in. See, a Pringle is only about 42% potato. The rest is a mix of rice flour, corn flour, and starches. That meant it couldn't legally be called a potato chip. So in the US, they became potato crisps. In the UK, where chips are called crisps anyway, it got a little confusing. But branding quirks aside, Pringles exploded into a $3 billion a year snack empire. And the magic happens in factories like the one we're about to step into. Every Pringle starts with real potatoes, and they can't just be any potatoes. Factories source high-starch, low-sugar varieties that cook evenly and produce that signature light crunch. When the truckloads arrive, the potatoes hit the conveyor belt, heading straight for an industrial hydrowasher. Imagine a giant jacuzzi for potatoes. Powerful jets of water spin and tumble them, scrubbing away dirt from the fields. From there, they roll into a massive peeling drum. Its rough surface, a bit like coarse sandpaper, gently strips away the skins, leaving smooth, bare potatoes ready for the next step. Before any cutting happens, the peeled potatoes take a quick bath in boiling water. This blanching process softens them for smoother cuts and shuts down enzymes that could cause browning or weird flavors later on. Next, they're fed into high-speed cutters, giant spinning cylinders with razor-sharp blades, slicing the potatoes into uniform cubes. These cubes drop onto a vibrating conveyor, which shakes them apart so they don't clump together. After a quick 2-minute cook in 185 degrees Fahrenheit water, the cubes head into a steam cooker that cranks the heat up to 345 degrees Fahrenheit. This ensures they're fully cooked, but not mushy. The steaming hot cubes then tumble into a massive mashing drum, where rotating arms churn them into a perfectly smooth potato mash. No lumps, no chunks, just creamy potato goodness. Here's where Pringles really take a turn from your average potato chip. Instead of slicing raw potatoes and frying them right away, this mash is transformed into something you'd never expect. The steaming mash is spread across the surface of a massive rotating steel drum, about the size of a small car. This drum is heated from within, so the moment the potato hits it, you hear a faint hiss as moisture evaporates almost instantly. The mash dries into a delicate film that clings to the drum's surface. After just a few seconds, scraper blades peel this film away in perfect sheets, thin, flexible, and slightly warm to the touch. These sheets are then sent to a milling station where high-speed blades reduce them into uniform potato flakes. If you scooped up a handful, you might think you were holding instant mashed potato mix, or maybe even breakfast cereal. But these flakes are far more precise. Their size, weight, and texture are engineered for the dough-making stage. This step is also one of the reasons Pringles taste the same, no matter where in the world you buy them. Now the flakes meet the rest of the cast. They're poured into a huge stainless steel mixer, joined by rice flour for crispness, wheat starch for structure, corn flour for a hint of sweetness, maltodextrin for smoothness, emulsifiers to hold it all together, and just the right amount of salt. Water is added slowly, and as the paddles churn, the ingredients clump together into a damp, grainy mixture. It doesn't stretch like bread dough. In fact, it's crumbly, like wet sand after a wave pulls back. That's exactly what we want. The dough is spread evenly onto a moving conveyor, heading straight for a set of enormous rollers. Imagine a steamroller at the beach flattening sand into a perfect sheet. These rollers apply a crushing 4 tons of pressure, squeezing the dough into a uniform ribbon just 1 millimeter thick. The sheet glides forward like an endless strip of pale fabric, smooth and flawless, ready to be shaped into the snack that's about to take on its iconic form. This is where geometry meets gastronomy. Rotating metal cutters stamp out perfect ovals from the dough sheet at lightning speed. Inside the factory, they've got a nickname for them: Doyles, a playful mashup of dough and ovals. The ovals travel into the fryer, but this isn't a flat fry. Overhead, a massive roller presses each oval gently into a curved mold as they hit the hot oil. That curve isn't random, it's a hyperbolic paraboloid, a shape that's not only stable and stackable, but also helps distribute pressure evenly so chips don't crack in the can. The oil is blistering hot, 392 degrees Fahrenheit, but each chip spends only 11 seconds in it. That's just enough time to lock in the shape, drive out excess moisture, and develop that golden, slightly blistered surface you see when you look closely at a Pringle. By the time they leave the fryer, they're fully cooked but still light, almost delicate, a texture that's impossible to replicate without this exact process. Fresh out of the fryer, the chips pass through a hot air blower to remove excess oil and cool them down to about 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Then comes the seasoning cascade, a controlled shower that coats just the top side of each Pringle. Yes, it's intentional. The one-sided seasoning ensures a burst of flavor when the chip hits your tongue. With over 160 flavors worldwide, factories use nearly 6,000 pounds of seasoning every day. From classic sour cream and onion to regional specialties like Japanese grilled shrimp or Mexican street corn, the variety is staggering. That saddle shape, it's not just for looks. It allows each chip to nest perfectly into the next, creating a stable stack that resists breakage. Stacks are weighed to ensure every canister gets the right amount. Mechanical fingers then guide the stack into the iconic cardboard tube. A freshness seal is applied on top, a metal base is attached at the bottom, and finally, the familiar plastic lid is snapped on. Around the world, Pringles come in 5 different canister sizes to suit different appetites. Before a single canister leaves the factory, it passes through strict quality control. In a special tasting room lit entirely with red lights, trained tasters sample chips without seeing their color, focusing only on texture, crunch, and seasoning. Here's the high-stakes part. If one chip fails, the entire batch is scrapped. That's how serious they are about consistency. 10. Distribution to the world. Visual forklifts loading pallets into trucks. Once approved, canisters are boxed, palletized, and loaded onto trucks headed for distribution centers. From there, they travel to supermarkets, vending machines, and corner stores in over 140 countries, often reaching shelves within days of production. So next time you pop open a can, remember, that stack in your hand is the result of a carefully engineered process involving precision machinery, food science, and a little bit of snack genius. They're not potato chips. They're not exactly crisps. They're Pringles, and they've been bending the rules of snacking for over 50 years. Now I'm curious, do you eat them one at a time, or do you stack 3 or 4 for that ultimate crunch? Tell us in the comments. And if you enjoyed this factory deep dive, hit subscribe and join us for more behind-the-scenes looks at the world's favorite foods. Because there's a lot more where this came from.